I don't have a switcher yet, so I can just do this to not to show me the pop on. Welcome, weary travelers, to a podcast just off the beaten path. Forget everything you knew and everything they taught you. Dive deep down rabbit holes of high strangeness, hypotheses, and forgotten history that we're doomed to repeat. This is the Bobby Dizzle podcast. Ooh. That's called production value, friends. That's what film school in Tuscaloosa, Alabama will get you.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm working on that. I'm trying to get a feel for how I'll say it. I may try to find somebody with a deep voice. But anyway, everybody who's watching this in a later date, because we're doing live to tape, welcome to the Bobby Dizzle podcast. Check out the newly renovated BobbyDizzle.com. It's right there on the screen under my microphone. My channel. It's also in the description, of course, like everything else. We got Wild Trees, the biologist, everybody's favorite, coming to you live from Central Texas.
Yes,
Just
sir.
south of just west of the Pine Belt.
Yes, that's true.
Oh yeah. And we have as our special guest Paul Tremblay.
Hey.
Cryptid and paranormal enthusiast and investigator. It's going good, Ryan. He's also the host of Monster Radio on YouTube. Mm-hmm. And very excited about this. Specializes in Wendigo and Skinwalker and has had a dogman encounter. So I don't know where to start. Let's Let me ask one real question to get the ball rolling. When you said the Skinwalker thing, how it's old Navajo thing. Am I right there? Old Navajo legend.
Yeah. It's a Navajo shaman. Yeah.
How far back does that legend go? I've heard that it's like a recent thing that somebody's saying is old.
Oh no! Oh God, this goes back way before European settlers even came to the
That's
States.
what I thought. I mean,
yeah. It's right there with our own religions like Christianity and Catholicism. It's so deeply rooted in their history that we don't even have a recorded time where it actually began. So
that's what I thought. I thought it was it was like an old thing. I thought it was an ancient kind of like
it is. I think what people get confused is it's new to things like TikTok, new to YouTube.
Oh yeah.
But to the Navajo, it's not new by any means, or any of the indigenous tribes. It's been there since their inception, since the origins of their people. So, but it is new to, not to use any derogatory terms, but it's new to white people. That's
fair. I didn't start hearing about that stuff until creepypastas came out.
Right. Yeah. I mean, creepypasta was kind of the advent of the Skinwalker popularity and the Wendigo popularity. Mm-hmm. So,
is one of the fundamental elements of a Skinwalker legend, is it that humans can shapeshift into animals? Is that part of the
Yeah, it's through the means of wearing a magical pelt.
Okay. Now, I heard also that, so maybe since you know about this, you could tell me if this aspect is creepypasta. Somewhere I read that, the way to get this power is very dark. Like you have to murder somebody you love, and then you have to consume their body. And is that true? Is that actually part of
that is actually part of it. But I mean, it goes deeper than that. I mean, if you really want me to get into it, I can.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's one means. That's one method, but another method is like incest. So they're supposed to sleep with a relative. I know that's disgusting and everybody cringed, but there's also like the murder of a tribe. There's a murder of like villagers or whatever. It's a very, very dark and very brutal thing that they have to do. It's not just like, doing one thing and boom, they have the power. They can do multitudes of things.
Have you seen the Unsolved Mysteries, the new one about the Navajo Rangers?
Mm-hmm.
The Navajo, what are they called? Paranormal Rangers? That's insane. The guy says he saw the Skinwalker.
You know what, though? That's so great that the Navajo are finally opening up a little bit because they're so protective of their lores and their mythology, man. Getting them to talk at all is almost impossible.
Yeah, since they're so far out there, they seem like they keep it pretty close to the chest.
Oh, yeah, they do. And when I was doing my Skinwalker research, I mean, I had to go through great lengths to get them to even talk to me. So it's definitely one of those things that when you're starting to look into it, you realize how guarded it really is.
Now, when you were doing it, did you get to talk to anybody who actually had like a legit encounter you felt in your mind?
Mm-hmm, absolutely,
not just hyperbole like you hear about some things.
It's kind of strange. And with the Navajo, okay, when you're talking to them, and they tell you they've run into something, you're almost inclined to believe them a bit more because they have that look of fear upon them.
Yeah,
and it's kind of hard to really describe to anybody who's not there physically. But when you talk to a Navajo person and they start describing the Yinadalushi, that's their word for them, is the Yinadalushi. When they describe an encounter like that with something like that, you just see this look of fear come over them that's so strong that you're feeling that same emotion. So when they're telling you this stuff and you see that look in their eyes, you know something happened. They ran into something. Was it a skinwalker? Probably. Could it be? Yeah.
The old skinwalker. They're not the same as Wendigo. What's the difference in the Wendigo? One's like a deer.
Okay, Wendigo, actually, what that is this is a spirit that comes into a person when certain cultural taboos are broken. The most popular one is cannibalism. You know, everybody says that in order to become a Wendigo, you have to eat somebody else. That's not the only means, though. It can happen through greed, through avarice, you know, basically anything that the Algonquins thought was a sacred rule. If you broke that sacred rule, they believe the spirit of the Wendigo possessed you. And so the difference between a Wendigo and a skinwalker is the Wendigo is like, I guess we would call it demons in today's terms. You know, because it's a spirit that enters a human body and it starts changing them physically and mentally. Whereas the Yinadalushi, this is a religious practice. It's a sect of their religion where they become devotees of this darker craft.
And so one's like a cult, and the other's like a sickness.
Right. So the Yinadalushi actually, you know, they opt to become this. They want to become this. It's done purposely.
You should offer that as a major.
Right.
I have two questions about the skinwalker also. Okay, I heard another thing. One's a smaller question, one's a bigger question. The smaller question is, I've also heard that if you're around a skinwalker in its animal form, you shouldn't get too close because you might breathe in something on its skin that'll make you incredibly ill, like something coming off of it.
Yes.
And then I guess if you want to answer that one, then I'll ask you the deeper question. But yeah, what's up with that?
Okay, well, the dust that they wear, it's a kind of toxin that they actually kind of cover themselves in. And it's a way of getting to their victim. It's a way of making them sick and making them weaker so they can play their mind games. You know, it's a way of lowering your defenses and making the victim their prey.
So I wonder if wearing like an N95 mask or something would help you, you know, against that aspect of it.
It might. I mean, it's worth a try.
Got a mask up on the reservation for different reasons.
My second question is, but it's a deeper question. Like, okay, do you think there's anything to it? Do you think it's literally possible for some people to turn into animals and then turn back into humans?
You know, that's kind of a double-edged question for me. I will say that at one time I didn't believe it, but after speaking to numerous Navajo people on the reservation, I have to open my mind a little bit. Not so much that my brains fall out, but I do have to believe there's something to it. Do I think they can shapeshift all the way into animals? No, because I mean, would the human body survive that? You know, biologically, would it survive that transformation after transformation? I don't think so. But if it's magic, do we have the science to understand it yet? I don't think we do. So is there a possibility? Sure, why not?
It could be like anything else in that dimension, in that realm, that it's a technology we just don't know anything about.
Right. I mean,
one dimension to the other, that's not magic.
Right. So when studying these things, though, like, you know, I like to use science. I do like to apply science to everything I study, but I also recognize that there are things that science doesn't yet understand. So that means I don't yet understand it, and I can't apply any forms of science to it.
Right.
Yeah, they say science nothing can outrun science forever.
True. And I'm hoping that is very true. I'm hoping that someday science catches up to the Wendigo and the skinwalkers, and I can apply that science to answer these mysteries.
I mean, if it doubles every 2 years, you would think eventually, or 3 years, you would think eventually it would permute into that particular realm. Maybe it already has. I mean, you got
the
we just over the ocean. More than one person have said they had like government intervention whenever they saw a Bigfoot. So it's.
Yeah, I mean, that is a popular thing that people say, but I mean, are we really looking into the whole shape-shifting aspect? Are we really studying the skinwalker lore so that we can develop that science? I don't think we are. I think we're kind of skipping it over because it's a native tale. And I don't think that's fair.
Weaponized shape-shifting?
Oh, gosh.
That'd make deepfake look like a Game Boy Color.
It really would. It would be almost like T-1000 level kind of stuff.
Yeah. Imagine a politician's getting a hold of shapeshifters. I saw him do it.
Oh, God. That's a terrifying thought.
You cut one of them's arm off and it turns back into Stanley Ipkiss's pajamas from the mask. Ipkiss. Yeah, that's the thing.
Great reference.
All this stuff. Oh yeah, we're going deep here. I watched about 20 or 30 minutes of your show earlier, so I know you know some TV and movie references.
Oh God, I am.
I'm not holding them back.
Sweet, I'm all for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no. What was I going to say? Like, yeah, if we're already 20 to 30 to 50 years, I think I heard the word for that a while ago. What, the 30-year, 50-year principle?
Mm-hmm.
Just to say it's not already out there. If we can do other stuff,
right? That's true. I mean, it is within the realm of possibility, and we do have to consider it. So,
I just don't know how. I don't know what would have to transpire physically for someone to turn into a panther or something from just a regular 5 foot tall dude.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, that goes along the lines of the werewolves and everything like that. So many people believe that werewolves exist, but you got to question the whole shape-shifting aspect, though. I mean, would a human body really survive that? You know, I don't think it would.
Recently about that?
Mm-hmm.
I know you've seen it. That guy that didn't have a face, he was in a cave. He kept taking people's body and murdering people, and they get put in jail.
Oh, I'm trying to think what the name of that movie was.
It was just on like HBO Max or something. It was good too.
Mm-hmm. I did see that. Just the name's eluding me right now.
I was also going to ask. I was going to ask you about the Skinwalker Ranch in particular, because reading about Skinwalker Ranch, the things that American scientists report there, it doesn't sound like a shapeshifter. That sounds more like a interdimensional entity, if I had to put a name on it. Like the weird things that happen. Yeah, so I'm like, is there multiple things going on at Skinwalker? Because I know the legend is there, the Native American legend of the Skinwalker. Could it be that like that area naturally is a thin place? There's naturally a lot of interdimensional beings, and somehow the Native Americans said these are Skinwalkers instead of saying these are interdimensional beings.
I think what that is it comes from the fact that land was cursed by a Skinwalker. It was cursed to have a Skinwalker on there. And if you talk to the Navajo, they have what's called Skinwalker rocks. And there's some here in Arizona that I'm going to be checking out. And according to legend, those rocks open the portals. They thin the veil so other things can come through. So who's to say that's not happening over on Skinwalker Ranch? Maybe there's some landmarks that we're not aware of that are opening these portals.
Right.
Because they do say in the lore that a Skinwalker can walk between the worlds. So if they can walk between the worlds, who's to say their magic can't bring things out into other dimensions?
That's correct. That's correct.
It makes sense. Anything's possible on that veil.
Yeah.
I think it answers a lot of questions, maybe too conveniently for me. Maybe you can't just say, well, it came from over there. But too many people have seen these things.
Yeah, that's true.
And maybe like we discuss on every show, literally the vibration caused by the technology and the fluoride and the constant phones in your ear. Mm-hmm. People saw stuff 150 years ago. And I think it was Jack Connor with what's he, Cosmic Road, Jack Connor?
Yeah.
He was talking, me and him were talking, it was about 1910, 1907, whenever that shit started going down. Right after the Spanish-American War, or
that's why I pay more attention to the historical studies when it comes to cryptozoology. Because it's a very weird route to take when studying Bigfoot and stuff like that.
There's tons of them. It goes back a million years.
Yeah, it goes way, way back. And there's something that people have to consider is back in those days, they didn't have cell phones, they didn't have YouTube, they didn't have laptops. So they were always eyes to the woods, eyes to the skies. So they were seeing things a lot more than we were. Okay, and these details match up to what people are seeing nowadays. So did people way back in like the 1800s, 1700s make it all up? I don't think so. I think there's something to the historical studies.
Okay, hear me out. This just hit me. I'm talking about just now. This is going to flabbergast both of you, including Wild.
Is that the loud sound that I heard? Because I heard a thud splat.
It might have been me. I'm bouncing around. This chair's popping and my back hurts really bad. And so I'll have to bounce around. But check it out. This is, what if the vibration that the low or high or whatever that's out of sync with the world, the reason we can't see things now, what if that concept is the same as your eyes adjusting to the light? Like people back then were always in that no distraction mode 24/7. Right. So when they looked around, it was just there. But what if, like right now, we're just all, this is how we are to that. Just If you can't see me on the audio, but I'm squinting my eyes, just like you just woke up. What if that's how we are to that shit? We just don't know it.
Right. I mean, that's
back then they're pretty much outside. Everybody was in a hut till like 200 years ago.
Right. And think about how nowadays everybody has their face buried in their cell phone. A Bigfoot could walk right by the most people and they wouldn't even see it because they're looking at a text message. So back then they didn't have those distractions. They didn't have those annoyances. So if they were to see a big TV walking through, they'd be like, "Oh my God, what is that?" They're more likely to see things. So I totally agree with what you're saying there. I'm on board.
It'd be quieter.
Can
you imagine how quiet it was in 1750 in America?
Oh,
I'm just making a random note. I bet it was just like I've been in the woods. It's like it is quiet.
You could hear a pin drop back then.
No cars. You may hear a horse, maybe like a wagon come through, depending on where you're at.
Yeah.
Imagine the first European to hear a deer blow.
Oh my God, that must be like,
what is that? El Diablo.
Yep. Satan.
Or skunk. They have skunks. They have skunks in Europe.
I think they have a type of them. I don't think it's the black and white.
Those are called Frenchmen. You racist. How dare you?
Oh, hey, watch it now. Watch it.
That is the French.
Look at my last name. Look at my last name, good sir. I'm French Canadian, so
pea soup eater.
Yep.
French Canadian. I don't know. I just felt like making a French joke real quick. It was set up on the tee.
I like bacon and beer.
Well, of course you do. You're in the free state of Arizona.
I sure am. Yes.
God bless America. Let's see what we got. What do we got? Wendigo. Yeah, the Wendigo is is it Wendigo? I keep saying Wendigo.
Yeah, it's a Wendigo. Well, you can pronounce it different ways. They have Wendigo and they have Wetigo.
So there's I'm going to bring up TikTok again and show my stupidity and my and the reason I can't see Bigfoot because I'm in that app all day. But there's like a Appalachian TikTok where you got the guys out there in Kentucky and West Virginia talking about all the stuff that they see, and like one of them's like when you see a deer by the trash can and the deer stands up and opens the can. Don't whistle at night. Long Island Bigfoot saw Wendigo.
Did he?
He saw a deer stand up.
Okay, here's the funny thing, and a lot of people are going to be kind of mad at me for this, but the deer-headed thing, that was never a part of the original Wendigo lore.
Is that new?
Yeah. What happened is Algernon Blackwood wrote a book called The Wendigo, and on the cover, he depicted like a giant hairy beast that had antlers, but it didn't have a deer head. That came from when people started hybriding it with the European and the Norse mythologies.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, there's a guy called Herne the Hunter that a lot of the people over in Britain will know about. And he had a deer head. He wore a deer skull on top of his own hair. And they kind of interwove that with the Wendigo. So that became commonplace for the Wendigo, but really the Wendigo was never depicted as stag-headed.
What was the original one?
The original one was more like the game Until Dawn. If you guys have ever played that. Have you ever seen that before?
What was it called? Until Dawn?
Until Dawn, where they were very, very pale-skinned human beings. They were bald, no hair on their bodies at all, and they had very, very sharp teeth, sunken eyes. So almost like the ghoul. If you think of like how the rake and the pale crawlers would look, it's more like that.
Ooh.
Or to give you a more accurate version, the movie The Descent. Have you guys seen that?
Yeah.
Okay, that's how the Wendigo was portrayed, like that.
Okay.
So it's not.
Yeah.
Okay.
So see, when you get into the study of the Wendigo, you really get to see that it's been very convoluted. It's been mixed up, and people have kind of whitewashed it to be more popular by making the Wendigo look a certain way.
So there it is. Is that the the famous picture going around of the skinwalker or the Wendigo at night? It's like white crawling.
Oh, the trail cam?
Yeah.
It's funny because I've heard different stories on that. I've heard that was just a viral marketing technique for the video company.
It's obviously fake.
Well, hold on now. There's a girl named Missy Lee Sterling who deep dived into that. According to her, there was no video game company that ever put that out. So that's supposed to be a genuine trail cam photo. So there's two different stories going around about that.
Show the peeps. Oh yeah, there's the one with the thing that's on four legs and got its back arched backwards. That one, that's creepy as a day is long.
I mean, personally, I've always felt that it was fake, that there was some viral marketing going on.
Yeah. Oh, there it is.
But if Missy Lee's out there researching this and she says no, it's not, I do have to question that.
It's weird. It may be one of those things where it wasn't, but now they say it was just so they can get off the like. They're buying it, and they're buying it, guys.
It could be.
There we go. Little production value. There she is.
Let's see.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that one. Interesting.
I mean, to me, it does look fake. I can see why people would say, oh, it's viral marketing for a video game. Because, yeah, it does look like Photoshop. But, I mean, that'd be really good Photoshop.
There's that one. That's always freaking me out.
That one right there. Okay, I've been sent that photo so many times. That is from the movie Extro. That's an alien from that movie.
I have heard of that one, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, XTRO.
Yep.
Oh. XTRO. Hell yeah. I love all these one-off sci-fi movies that nobody's ever heard of. They're just the most amazing thing ever. Ooh,
they really are. They just become a pain in the butt for somebody like me, because when somebody knows I'm doing skinwalker research, they'll try to pass this photo off to me like, Ryan, I saw a skinwalker. And I'm going, no, you didn't.
Well, I've, when it comes to you know how they got the weird things? There is a legend, and I should have asked Robert Beto about this, Mexico Unexplained.
Mm-hmm.
But he's, I don't know if you've heard of him or not. He does a lot of, he does like an unsolved mystery podcast for Mexico. All the cryptids down there. Yeah, it's amazing. That dude is talented beyond his accolades. I'll tell you that.
Like a walking encyclopedia. Yeah, it's Mexico Unexplained, the website and the YouTube channel. Yeah.
But there in Brazil, there's a legend that the sloth still exists.
Mm-hmm. And, I mean, that could be. That is real cryptozoology right there. I mean, if it's a sloth we're talking about, that is indeed the definition of cryptozoology.
Yeah, and let me find this. It's called the Mapaguri something. Let me see. But anyway, like it's either a sloth, like the actual legend is like the old giant sloth in the Ice Age that you see.
Right.
Then there's like this other one here. Check this out. And this is what gets me when people start.
I was gonna say real fast before I forget. You were talking about skunks, so I looked it up real fast. It says there's 11 species of skunks, all native to mainland countries in North and South America, and it says Europe, Africa, Australia, mainland Asia, and most island nations have no native skunks.
Ah, okay.
So it's just over here.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first European to smell a skunk. That would have been amazing. This guy, this is like the extreme legend of that ancient giant sloth.
Wow.
But
I would not want to run into something like that.
Look at that. It looks like it's from All Real Monsters.
Yeah, it does. Excellent reference, by the way. Oh my goodness. I used to love that cartoon growing up. Oh my God.
And the one that was a stick. Look at this. It's got. It
looks like Dungeons and Dragons.
Like that's the Mapingori. I'm not pronouncing it right. So I'm glad Robert's not here.
So basically, it's a cyclops with a mouth in its stomach.
Yeah, like that's but look, it's got the sloth hands.
Mm-hmm.
It's insane.
It's funny how people can see something and their descriptions of it change so drastically from what they really saw.
But it really makes you. Every one of them has this weird neck thing, which makes you wonder. Like sloth has it too. It just doesn't have one eye. Right. I don't know where they got the sea lamprey attaché or accoutrement.
That's a very good question. I mean, when you look at stuff like this, you do have to wonder where certain details come from in the witnesses' minds.
But whatever, I almost want to, like, I love the cryptid stuff. Like, I can't stop talking about cryptids. But when it comes to things like that, it's so unrealistic. Like, I still think Dogman's realistic because he still has what Wild Tree would call fitness. Like, it was the blueprint for his body is there. Like this stuff, like that makes no sense. Why would something evolve into a one-eyed Bigfoot creature with a mouth in its stomach?
Very good point. Though I do take some umbrage with Dogman at times, though, because I mean, biologically, is there a precedence for canines to evolve into a two-legged thing? I mean, what would in their evolution cause that kind of change? Because when you give up legs, you're giving up speed and balance.
And what's he doing with his giant tearing mouth?
So why would Dogman evolve though from anything that's four-legged to two-legged though? I mean, that's something that's perplexed me since I started Dogman research.
mean, if it's interdimensional, you may get like what you're calling like the imagination land effect. Like anything's possible. Effect. Yeah, as long as the fitness was there, as long as it was like the blueprint, the engineering was available.
True.
Like some stuff like.
Well, Wild Trees, you're a biologist, so what do you think though? Do you think that canines would evolve from 4 legs to 2 legs, or does that just kind of make you go, huh?
Well, I'm trying to think of the history of animals where there's been evidence of a 4-legged animal turning into a 2-legged animal. Mm-hmm. There's instances. Yeah, I mean, humans eventually. Yeah, I mean, humans did evolve from a rodent-like species. So yeah, that is an example of a 4-legged. But that's like a really long transition. You know what I mean?
I think your microphone died.
Oh, really? Let me see.
It sounds like you're in a hole. Right in the middle of the word transition. It was almost poetic.
What about
transition? Oh, there you go.
Nope.
You're good.
Hold on. I got a new case, and I don't think it's letting me get the microphone in there. Hold on. Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yep. Oh yeah.
Nope. Okay.
I can hear you.
Okay, so yeah, I was going to say that humans and primates are an example of a 4-legged animal turning into a 2-legged animal, but that's a very long time. That you're talking about the rodents evolving. So something closer, I don't know, like there's whales evolved from a 4-legged animal, like a dog-like, loathsome-looking creature that was on land.
This is true.
But that's different though. It's not a 2-legged upright animal.
Right.
The
only explanation I have is maybe dogmen don't really move around on a bipedal fashion. Maybe they are quadrupeds, but when they feel threatened, they raise up to 2 legs. I mean, that's really the only thing scientifically that makes sense to me.
Yeah, that's actually really smart. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, because that lines up because when a human the reason why we think dogmen are on 2 legs is because a human reports it being on 2 legs. Okay,
right.
So it's kind of smart to assume that if a human is looking at a dogman, then probably the dogman is also looking back at the human. Correct. And in that case, yeah, the dog would probably stand up to make itself look bigger. So that's pretty smart. I do like that. Yeah.
I mean, I was kind of given that inspiration because I was reading about wolves, and wolves will actually stand up on 2 legs, much like a bear will. They'll stand up on 2 legs to get a better view of their, what's coming for them or their prey. So I was thinking, maybe dogman does the same thing. They catch whiff of a human and they're like, uh-oh. So they pop up to 2 legs to look bigger and to see where the human's coming from.
Right.
I mean, scientifically, that's the only thing that makes sense, because would they walk around 2 legs all the time? I don't see that because they're giving up speed.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, it wouldn't make sense. The other thing, taking a broader approach to cryptids is this idea that I've had that, if a cryptid is intelligent, let's say primate level intelligence or higher, to me, telling somebody what you actually look like is a huge disadvantage. Like that's not very smart at all. That's why we have so many animals that camouflage themselves. Like, there's a moth that looks like the bark of a tree, etc. It goes on and on. We're all familiar with camouflage. So if you're a very intelligent animal, let's say you're so intelligent you could travel interdimensionally, then to me the last thing I would really do is give up my true physical appearance. But what I would do if I had the technology is give a false appearance to throw everybody off my trail. So I would make myself look like a dogman when really I don't look like a dogman. I would make myself look like a little gray alien with a big-headed, almond-shaped eyes when really I don't look that way. Right. So what I'm saying is with some of these cryptids, if they're super intelligent and they want to, and it seems obvious to me that a lot of them want to remain secret from humans, it seems like a good idea that we probably should not trust what we're seeing with our eyes. That's probably a deception of some kind.
Right. And that kind of goes into the whole tulpa effect that I was talking with Bobby about in Facebook messages. I mean, if you think about how popular Dogman and Bigfoot and even things like the Rake and Slender Man have become, would it really fit that there's a tulpa effect going on, that people's thoughts, that people thinking about this and starting to become afraid of it, we kind of have like a Freddy Krueger effect. Like, so much energy is being put into these things that they manifest somehow. And that's why to certain people, they look a certain way.
Manifestation's so weird, man.
It is. I mean, manifestation could be a real trip, So are we manifesting some of these, and these aren't the true cryptids that we're looking for? That could explain why there's no footprints, why there's no fur, no scat for some of these, because we're not really seeing the real cryptids. We're seeing tulpas.
Right. See, I kind of think manifesting is like on the same frequency as prayer. When people say prayer doesn't work, like it's not working like you think it does. Like it works out eventually, like chips fall down the path. Right. But manifesting is like the same thing. And I had it happen to me like 3 years ago, and it freaked me out when I realized what happened. And I was like, wow, this is real. Like something's really out there looking after this stuff for some reason.
Yeah. So you brought that into your reality, right?
I'm talking specific.
Well, yeah. I mean,
once I realized it 6 months later, that's what happened. I'm like, oh my God, that's weird.
Right. And see, that's the theory that I like to go with sometimes is like, these people, it becomes such a popular thing. It's so ingrained in their minds that, we're thinking about it constantly. And a lot of people, I mean, all you guys can actually testify for this. A lot of people are terrified of cryptids. Like to them, they're the horror movie monsters that are out in the woods to kill you. And fear is a very, very, very powerful emotion when you're manifesting. So if you're using that negative energy, who's to say you're not creating these things that show up just to scare you, and then poof, they're no longer manifested.
We talk about how to prepare your mind for a paranormal activity a lot, and how you just gotta like accept it when you think it starts to happen. Just accept it and like sit back like you're on a ride.
Yep.
Because chances are it won't hurt you.
Right. So I mean, it's something to consider.
I got a vision board here.
Ooh.
Speaking of manifesting, I manifested one thing on there. One's good. One's good.
Well, it's just a theory that I look into, because when somebody says, "Oh, well, I saw a dog man and it was out while I was hunting and I shot at it and I hit it dead center of the chest and nothing happened," I got to wonder, is that because it was a manifestation and the bullet just went right through it? Is there something to that?
That's not good hunting practice.
Yeah, no.
That's like the worst thing you can do.
Could
be a crackhead Halloween costume. Then what?
Could be a furry.
I think you may get away with the if it was like somebody straight up in a dog man costume, you could say it was a deer. But still, if you see a giant dog in the woods and it's 7 feet tall and weighs 400 pounds, it's not a coyote.
True.
But it could be a furry. It could be the making of Pottersfield too. If you get that reference, you're one of my people. Christina Hendricks and Clay from Sons of Anarchy are furries. Amazing movie. Amazing. I watched it again tonight. Have you seen that Wild Trees, Pottersfield?
No, I haven't even heard of it. No,
man, you need to watch it. It's a Bigfoot movie.
Yeah, I'm pulling at Captain America right now going, I understood that reference.
It was good. It was funny, and it was like a cryptid movie, but it wasn't. And I keep seeing that guy that played the shopkeeper. He was on Amsterdam, wasn't he?
Yes.
A new movie with Christian Bale. So I'm like, who the fuck is that guy? It's dude. It's the shopkeep.
Dude.
It's shopkeep. Was married to Christina Hendricks and fucked it up. How'd you let that fish off the hook? You look like literal lurch. How'd you do that? Yeah, but it's that's some of the more scarier things, and I've heard that Christians aren't supposed to do it. But I think it's basically the same thing I think it's on the same frequency as prayer.
Well, it's like that meme that I posted the other day. I'm not sure if you saw it. Like, Christians call it prayer. Some call it manifestation. It's all the same thing, but people are just arguing over the definition. So I mean, it's to each their own. It's whatever religion you believe in, that you're doing the equivalent of what the next person's doing.
Right. I think that there's like a frequency level, energy level that all that works on. Is just whoever saw the weird light in the sky first named it something else.
Correct.
That's what freaks me out about it, because you don't want to call somebody wrong, because they're probably not.
You're right.
Probably not wrong at all.
I wonder what cryptids do you think are most likely to be our old-fashioned cryptids, just animals that we haven't, no weird stuff, no manifesting things, no interdimensional, just like plain old animals.
Well, if I had to guess, I would say that Bigfoot, I do believe that some of them are just, well, people are going to hate me for this, but they're apes, okay? Mm-hmm. And then, like, you know, the aquatic ones, like Nessie or Champ, I think there's a chance they could be some kind of aquatic animal. Mm-hmm. You know, and even the Thunderbirds. The Thunderbirds are definitely one that I feel is nothing but a straight up animal that we, you know, doesn't know exists.
How about La Lechuza?
Have you heard of a La Lechuza?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah. When I asked Robert Bitto, the guy from Mexico, which cryptid or legend in Mexico he thinks is most likely to be true, he said, yeah, I think the Lechuza. There's so many reports, physical reports, that there probably is a large undiscovered owl species in Texas and Mexico. Yeah.
Right. I would agree with that. And if you look at some of the owl species, some of them are actually pretty terrifying looking. So imagine somebody that doesn't really know nature very well. They see something like that and that big, and they're going to be like, oh my goodness. They're going to think it's something from their folklore and it's natural.
Right.
Oh my gosh, you just brought up the owls. Wild trees. You know how you say you saw little grays?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen baby owls?
Yeah, I think in one or two videos I've seen them, yes.
I saw that. Yeah. I said, Wild trees have owls in his house.
Those things are weird looking.
Hang on. Yeah.
I have a healthy respect for owls now that I did the Wendigo research. So, because owls are very symbolic in the Wendigo lore. So I'm always like, ooh, an owl. Oh boy.
Look at that. There's your grace.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, that's so freaky.
If I walked in my attic and that was standing there, I would shoot it. I would shoot it 7 times.
I would scream so loud.
Imagine you walk into your attic and that was just chilling there. I'd have to kill it.
I'd punch it in the face and I'd be gone.
Well, they're not that tall. That's what bad.
I'd still punch it in the face. If I didn't know what it was, I'm still punching it right in the face and I'm out. Bye.
That's so funny.
I'd open Twitter. Okay. Anyway. I remember that from the other day.
Going back to that Bigfoot thing, yeah, I do think, well, generally with a lot of paranormal phenomenon, I do think that there are multiple explanations for the same thing. So, for instance, like UFOs, I think there are UFOs. I think some of them, they have to be extraterrestrial. Some of them have to be. I mean, there for sure are extraterrestrials out there. Surely they visit us sometimes. Surely they visit us sometimes. I don't know if all of them are. Some of them I think might be animals, undiscovered animals that look like the creature from Nope, basically, the new horror movie that came out.
Oh yeah,
some of them
I think definitely agree.
And then some of them are definitely just garbage or satellites or something not so interesting. And some of them are probably interdimensional. I think there's lots of things. And then with Bigfoot, yeah, I do think I don't think it's one species. It doesn't make sense for it to be one worldwide species that has been undiscovered.
It's interesting you brought that up because I actually did some studies on the different types of Bigfoot that people are seeing, like, you know, the Genosqua, the Gugwe, all those different kinds. Because we get so many different descriptions that, you know, it's not possible that it's just one kind of species. It doesn't make any sense because you got like the Gugwe, for example. People are seeing something that has the face and the snout and the teeth of a baboon or a mandrill. Is that your typical Bigfoot? No, because people are saying that when they see Bigfoot, it looks more human, or in some cases more gorilla-like.
You're right.
So right there, you know, Gugwe is a different kind.
Yep. And so, yeah, I do think it's multiple different species, multiple different causes for Bigfoot. And like you said, I do agree. I don't know which ones are, but probably the ones that don't go through portals. But I'm sure some Bigfoot are just animals, just flesh and blood apes. I don't know which ones are, though. But like I said, we've been talking to a guy in Minnesota who's seen Bigfoot. He lives with him on his property up in northern Minnesota in the middle of nowhere. And he and another witness saw a portal, like a rectangle portal, open up in front of them, about 11 feet tall. Saw two orbs of light come out. One of the orbs of light turned into a Bigfoot and then turned back into an orb. And so those are like, I don't think that's a flesh and blood animal.
Yeah, and I don't even know what to really quantify those as, other than like maybe ultra terrestrials or something, you know?
Elementals, that's what they're called.
Yeah. You know, elementals is something a lot of people don't consider, and elementals is something I've come to strongly believe in after researching Native American lore. So,
Tell us more about that. Yeah, how do you define an elemental, and how do the Native Americans define it, and what do they?
Well,
what are
you've
their
got so many
thoughts?
different kinds. You've got like the water spirits would be like, the Wendigo is a water spirit, believe it or not.
Oh,
And then
okay.
you've got like, you've got the little people, which are the earth spirits.
Mm-hmm.
And
Hear a
they're
lot
also,
about them.
yeah, and it's something that they respect, and it's such a strong respect that it almost borderlines on fear. So it shows you how powerful these elementals really are. It's not something they tamper with, and it's not something that we should tamper with.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that goes really, really deep into not just their history, but into the history of the country, of the planet. These things were here before us. So it's something that I've come to believe so strongly in. The Puckwudgies.
I just wonder if there's not just like a giant potpourri of elementals, just an amalgamation of them, because I think that's where all the crazy stuff's coming from.
It could be,
Bigfoot and
mm-hmm.
I put Dogman in the same camp as Bigfoot. I think if they do exist, they probably are just an offshoot of the same, two sides of the same coin. But
it's
what he was talking about in Minnesota.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned that though, Bobby, because like as far as Dogman goes, while I'm a believer in Dogman, I do have theories that maybe in some cases, Dogman is actually a type of Bigfoot that people are seeing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's in the same vein.
Right, because with the Gugwe that I mentioned earlier, they have the long snouts, okay? They have the sharp canines. They have the protruding brows like people say Bigfoot does. But they also have tufts of fur upon their head that would look like ears from a distance. So if you weren't like right up on this thing, like 2 feet away from it, and for a distance, the tuft of fur on its head would look like pointed ears.
Wasn't that animal from the Rage movie a Gugwe?
Yes, yeah, perfect
Primal
example.
Rage.
And thank you, Bobby, for actually bringing that up. Yes, that is a Gugwe.
My useless trivia strikes again. Yep, and it has that thing on its face.
Yeah, and if you look at the way they did that, the hair on the top of its head, it kind of like, swept upwards to look like ears. Now, if you saw that from a distance, right? If you didn't know about Gugwe and you didn't really know much about Bigfoot, but you saw that kind of thing from a distance, you would think, oh, it looks more canine, right? So
who was it that we had on here talking about Gugwe? It's not the first time we mentioned them.
Oh, you had somebody else talking about
so damn many. Oh yeah, nice. And we brought up Primal Rage then too.
Oh, it's a good movie.
I remember when it was in production. I followed the production on Instagram, and I'm like, just put this in a magazine and I'll watch it in a bathroom. In fact, this is better than any nudie book I've ever seen. I'm going to share it. I don't know if you know. Have you seen that Wild Trees?
Let me see. Yeah. That's a
design too.
I don't think I've seen the movie. Like I think I dreamt I watched it, but I never did.
No, I did a review on. So I did an episode on my channel called Biologist Wild Trees. You can see the link under my name, and I interviewed this guy named Brad. It was like a 3-hour and 40-minute interview about monster movies, and part of it was like best and worst monster movies. And we talked about this one. This was on his list of best monster movies, and I think he said, if I'm not mistaken, the stuntman who was in that suit, he actually suffered an accident, a car accident mid-filming, and lost his leg. And I think they might have incorporated that into the movie. He kept filming. He was a trooper afterwards. But yeah, he said that's one of the best.
That shows you don't want to be a stunt person, because Kevin Peter Hall, the guy who played the Predator in the first two movies, he lost an arm while making Predator 2.
He did. Oh my god.
Yeah, apparently when he was doing one of the stunts where he's falling off the roof, the cable snapped. And when the cable snapped and recoiled, they cut off his arm.
Wow, that's insane.
Yeah, it's sad. I mean, that's how he got the disease, which killed him later on. But
at least it wasn't before the Predator franchise jumped the shark. He was still in a good Predator.
Poor Kevin Paul would be looking at the new Predator movies going, what did you guys do?
Although, what did you think about Prey?
I actually liked Prey. I know there's a lot of people that are all up in arms because it was a little Indian girl that killed the Predator. Well, I think she did it in a very realistic way, and I think we needed a female hero in that series.
Right, exactly. Yeah, she didn't like I told Bobby. I also did a review with Bobby on my channel for Prey and all the Predator movies. But I was like, look, my fear, which didn't happen, it did not happen. My fear was like, I don't want to watch this little girl punching the shit out of a Predator's face. And I was like, that didn't happen in the movie. She used her mind to outsmart the Predator, not her body. Yeah.
Right, and
I think they kind of took the woke element out of it.
A lot of people, though, kind of like lost principle of what the movie really stood for. It wasn't about somebody overpowering the predator by muscle. It was outsmarting them with brain. Look at Arnold Schwarzenegger. Did he win by, going fist to fist with it? No, he defeated it with a Looney Tunes trick.
Yeah.
He had that log drop on its head because it was just like, it was there and it was coincidental, so it worked. Danny Glover, he killed it with its own weapon. So does it make sense that Yuri from The Prey was able to kill the predator? Absolutely.
So how rock hard was your boner when you saw that owl handle pistol?
Oh man,
Scale of 1 to 10. Scale of 1
I
to
did
10.
Wayne's World thing, man. It was a 10.
Swing.
I did the swing.
Oh yeah, I did Scooby Dooing. I was watching it the night before when it first came out. We were going to do Wild Trees with a review on his channel. So I'm watching it late at night on my laptop in my background. I'm like, oh
yeah. When I saw that, I was like, oh, the elder's going to show up eventually and get that pistol. All right.
Which when nothing happened to it too, I'm like, oh, there's going to be a part 2.
Are they going to go somewhere to that one though, or
they'll have to?
Well, people are talking about how the sequel is going to take place in Japan, or it's going to be like Norse, and I'm going, well, no. They got to explain what happens to her and how Greyback gets that pistol.
Right.
Didn't I have problems with something in that movie in the beginning? How they hunted it or something? I don't know.
Let me see. There was a few lines you didn't like that were woke, but other than that, I think that's all the complaints you had.
There was something like the way
you said the rope. You said the rope was like not strong enough. Like the rope. The rope. It wasn't realistic. It was so strong. The weapon she had, her little scorpion from Mortal Kombat.
Get over here.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we're a bunch of video game nerds, aren't we? Holy crap!
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Giant space predator with a piece of string. Hang on, I'll turn in Leonardo DiCaprio. What was that?
I wanted to ask if we want to shift a little bit. I wanted to ask about what your paranormal experiences have been, or what your cryptid experiences have been, your sightings, or
my cryptid experiences. I've had a dogman encounter, and I actually had a little person encounter. I don't mean like a short person. I mean a little people.
Yeah.
Well, Peter Dinklage at Comic-Con.
Nope.
So yeah, what are those? I'd love to hear.
Okay, well, I'll start off with a little person encounter because that's the shortest one. So when I go on my research investigations, I take my dog Duke. Okay, we go down to this riverbed. It's a wash area where there's like branches off, to different directions. Well, I was walking down there and I kept hearing this high pitched trilling. Like think of the noise that the predator makes, but more high pitched. Okay, and I kept hearing it. I'm looking around, going, "Is there a woodpecker around here somewhere? What is this?" And there was nothing in the trees, and I kept hearing it. And as I was delving deeper into the wash or the riverbed area, it was getting louder. It was getting louder and it was getting faster. So I'm looking around going, what the hell is this noise? And dog Duke is a very, brave dog. He's getting nervous. I'm noticing that he's shifting side to side. His ears are going back. So I'm still making nothing of it. But as we rounded this curve in the riverbed, I happened to look up a little ways on the embankment. About 2 feet from where the shore started, there's this little person holding a stick that's like a spear, and he's staring right at me doing this high-pitched whistle.
Whoa.
And size-wise, he was maybe like a foot and a half tall. And he's just standing there staring at me for a minute, and he's cocking his head, and he's looking at my dog, looking at me, looking back at my dog, and looking back at me. And it's like he just kind of shrugs and go, whatever, and just ran up the hill. So I'm sitting there going, did I just see what I think I saw? My dog's barking at this point, so I know we saw something, okay? There was something there. And so I went to where he was standing, and yeah, you could see where he was actually standing in the soil. There was an embedment of a footprint. Wow. So this guy was staring at me, and I was like, what the hell? So that's one encounter I had. And
can I ask you a few questions for this one? Follow-up questions?
Of course.
Okay. What was the location again? What was the area? What state or
Southern Arizona? Southern Arizona.
Okay. Cool. And have you done any research? Are there any traditional stories of little people in that area?
Oh yeah, Puckwudgies. Puckwudgies are infamous around here. So, and if anybody's familiar with Puckwudgies, those are the little people that Native Americans would see.
Robert talked about those.
Yeah, see, there you go. So a lot of people know about them. So in Arizona, they're a very, very, very big thing. A lot of people believe in them. They actually have like little methods of how to befriend them here in Arizona. You know, and it wasn't something I really believed in too much, but once I saw one, I was like, oh my gosh, they're real. Wow.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Don't you have to ask permission of the local pukwudgies to do shit?
Yes, yeah, you
Not
have to
around
respect the pukwudgies. Like if you leave them gifting like tobacco or precious stones or precious metals, they're more likely to favor you and treat you kindly. Whereas if you disrespect them, they'll make your life a hell, basically.
There was like a story that they built a church or something, and it kept getting burned down.
Yeah,
because they didn't ask the local pukwudgies to.
Yeah, in fact, I mean, I know a woman here who she's also Native American, but she builds houses for pukwudgies. So you can actually buy these houses that she makes and take them to little areas where pukwudgies are supposed to be. And if you gift them this home, then they'll befriend you.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, what are the steps for befriending a pukwudgie? And is that recommended? Or can that be a monkey's paw kind of thing where it turns
kind of
on
like
you?
A monkey's paw thing where like it can start off really good, you know, where they can really be friendly towards you and they're very accepting of who you are. But then if you do anything at all to slight them, and you might not even know you did it, okay? They're going to feel like maybe you're using them or they're a slave to you in some way. And that's when they get really spiteful. These guys will harm your pets and they'll do things to, you know, terrorize you. Like, you know, that movie Cat's Eye. You remember that?
It's a Stephen King movie, maybe?
Yeah. Yeah, they'll do things like that. They'll kill animals around your property. They'll hurt your pets. They'll try to hurt you. So, you know, would you want to go out and befriend one? Not really. It's a monkey's paw thing, like you said, Wild Trees.
Okay. And how would you do it other than buying these little houses? What are the other steps that you would do?
The most recommended one is gifting them pure tobacco. Because if anyone knows anything about tobacco is actually a very sacred plant. It's very important to a lot of different cultures. So if you bring them like raw tobacco or precious stones, like, you know, gems that you find or gems that you can buy, or precious metals, you know, like bits of silver, bits of gold, it's something they value greatly and they'll take that as a sign of friendship.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking here that, tobacco is native to North and South America. I'm just looking. Interesting. Okay. Now, can you describe what the pukwudgie look like? So, what does the face look like? Color of the skin, the hair, the clothing, the sex?
All right. Well, it was definitely a male. He was definitely a male because he was bare chested, but he was wearing like I think it was rabbit fur for a loincloth.
Okay.
And his skin was kind of like a golden brown, but I mean, he was muddy because, you know, he's down in the riverbed, so he had plenty of sand and soot on him. But he was a golden brown. He didn't really have too much hair like we have. It was more like long strands in the back that kind of looked like porcupine quills.
Okay.
And he had
was the face human like, or would you say that's not a human?
It was
by the face, just by the face.
It was kind of human. I mean, not like, you know, distinctly human, but I mean, he had blackish eyes. All I could see were the blacks of his eyes. He had a long nose and a very, very wide mouth, like almost a frown kind of thing. You know, and he had kind of like a butt chin, like Jay Leno.
Wow.
Almost a hooked nose, I would say, a very big hooked nose that took up a lot of his face.
Yeah, the porcupine quill hair seems to be a universal depiction.
Yeah, it was interesting. I mean, it's something I want to look more into, but, you know, seeing him stand there with this long stick that obviously was a spirit, was a weapon. I guess maybe he was out hunting or something. You know, he's just standing there staring at me like, what the hell are you doing in my riverbed, you know?
Yeah.
Where the hell does something like that live? Like,
well, I mean, you could
it gotta be interdimensional.
Well, you can dig tunnels too. I mean, in the riverbed, we do have where it's like, it's not just soil. It's actually like, you know, it's hard sand that you can dig through, and you can actually go into the riverbed walls, and it goes quite a distance. You know, it goes at least miles, because you got to think, you dig into the riverbed, you're digging into the main plateau. So you can just dig right in there and create a home in there somewhere, and nobody would ever get to you.
Are they supposed to be responsible for any human disappearances? Is that part of the story?
Yeah, Native Americans say that they'll kidnap children, or they'll take people hostage if they do them wrong. So it's something to, you know, think about when you're going out there.
Okay, cool. Okay, well, yeah, if you want to move on to the other one, I just wanted to get those details out. Your other paranormal experience with
I just kept picturing the brownies from Willow whenever somebody says little people. It's all I think about, even though it's a different thing.
It didn't call me a stupid daikini, so we're okay.
Yeah.
But okay, my biggest one is my dogman encounter. This happened about 2 years ago here in southern Arizona as well. And what led up to that is a buddy of mine and his wife, they were going on vacation, okay? And so they asked me to house sit for them. And that included, going up and doing property checks morning, noon, and about midnight would be the last time I'd go per day. So what happened on this particular evening, it was about midnight. It was in October, I think. And I was going into his backyard. And along the way, I noticed that there was a lot of weird commotion. I could hear something moving in the bushes. But I figured, it's nighttime in Arizona. It could be rabbits, quail, whatever. But the coyotes sounded very different this night. They almost sounded nervous. And if you've ever been around coyotes, which I'm sure you have, Wild Trees, when coyotes yip.
Yeah.
And when they're excited, they sound a lot different from when they're calm. Yeah. But, still, I kind of dismissed it, because I'm like, well, it's just, it's October, whatever. And as I'm walking into his backyard, I'm walking on this long concrete path that he has. So I'm walking up to the back of his yard. I hear this deep, right? And so I kind of stop and I'm like, what was that? And I hear it again. And being a tough guy that I am, I'm 5'10" and I'm skinny, so I'm not a big, strong dude like you guys. So I puff up and I'm all, hey! Because I'm thinking maybe it's somebody pranking me, that there's a homeless guy, a vagrant or something that's trying to scare me. So I do this big, hey! There's nothing at first. So as I'm walking along again, I hear this growl again, this roar. So again, I stop and I'm all, hey! I'm trying to scare off whatever's doing this. So it goes quiet for a minute. The coyotes stop and all the birds, anything just went completely dead silent. So I was like, okay, whatever. I walk into the backyard and I see something in silhouette. It looks like somebody on all fours, like somebody's knuckle walking, okay? Mm-hmm. And so I stop and I'm like, hey, what are you doing in my friend's backyard? There's no response for a minute, but all of a sudden I hear a very deep roar. And as that happens, the security lights finally kick on because he has the security lights in the back of his house, right? And when the lights come on, it catches the eyes of these things. So I'm seeing this amber glow, and what I'm seeing in front of me looks like a hyena. Mm-hmm. So I freeze in place because I'm going, wait a minute, we're in Arizona. There's no hyenas in Arizona. Mm-hmm. Okay. And this thing's it's sitting there staring at me. I'm staring at it. And all of a sudden it stands up to two legs and I hear that loud pop. So this thing's looking right at me. And, I'm frozen in place, because when you see something out of the ordinary, you get scared. Okay. Doesn't matter how big you are, how strong you are. You see something that doesn't belong, you're going to be scared. So here I am. I'm staring at this hyena-like thing, and it's sitting on two legs now, and it's reaching up, and it grabs a branch from one of his orange trees, okay? And I can see its head moving side to side, and its ears going up and down. And I'm not daring to move at this point still. I'm rooted in place, guys. I'm not moving anywhere. And all of a sudden, this thing charges forward about 3 feet, and just abruptly stops. And as it stops, though, it kind of rears its head back, like it's looking at me like, you didn't run. Why didn't you run? So I'm just like, I know better. I know when you see a predator or something like that, don't look it dead in the eyes. Right. Staring something in the eyes is a challenge. So I kind of divert my eyes a little bit. And I can still tell that it's looking right at me. So we kind of had this long stare off. It felt like a week to me, but it was only about a minute. And this thing just slowly starts to back away. And I can hear it backing away. It's snapping twigs. It's kicking rocks. So once it's a certain distance, I bolt. I go to my friend's house. I'm locking his doors. I'm bolting his windows. I got on the phone with him, and I'm like, hey, bro, there's a hyena in your backyard, man. What the hell? He thinks I'm crazy.
Yeah, I was going to say, did you ask them about it or something?
Mm-hmm. And I told him I saw a hyena. I saw a hyena in your backyard, man. He's like, Rhino, there's no hyenas in Arizona. And I'm sitting there, I'm frantic. I'm telling him, dude, I saw something that looked like a hyena in your backyard. You need to get your butts home right now. So they came home. And I didn't want to go out during the nighttime, obviously, okay? So the next morning, we went out in the backyard. And sure enough, there were scuff marks where this thing had been standing. And there was broken branches, kicked rocks. So that was my dogman encounter.
So you saw it clearly in the light?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was about 15 feet away from me.
Wow.
Yeah, how tall was it? Would you estimate when it was on two legs?
On two legs, I say he was about maybe 6.5 feet tall.
Whoa. Okay.
And that's pretty big. I mean, hyenas themselves are pretty scary looking, okay? But when you see a bipedal one, you're kind of like, oh my God, I think I just did something messy and involuntary.
I didn't even see
And
it.
did it still look like a hyena when you saw it standing up? Did it? I mean, I know you for your first impression was like, oh, that's a kind of weird hyena. But even after the experience, after staring it down for a minute, were you still like this thing looks like a hyena, except it's standing up and it's 6 feet tall?
I would say either a hyena or one of those African wild dogs. And the reason why I say African wild dogs is because hyenas aren't canines, okay? Mm-hmm. So
You're right.
Could there be a type of dog man that's a hyena? No, because it would be more like a weasel kind of thing, wouldn't it? Whereas an African wild dog, well, those are canines, so it makes sense that there's a type of dog man that's like that.
Okay.
But it had the markings.
Could have been growing restless for some solitary company. He might have been a victim.
Yeah, there you go. But I mean, color-wise, it was like the colors you would see on a hyena, the golden brown with the dark spots. You know, it was more like that. It wasn't the black or the gray or the red brown that most people see. It had that golden hue to it.
Hyenas are so scary looking.
They are, and when you really look into what they can do,
looking.
Yeah, when you look at what they can do, like the draw, the pressure of their bite and everything, they're deadly. They could kick your butt.
They have no life in their eyes either.
No, they don't.
They just look like they're bred for death.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so imagine seeing something like that has the build of a athletic person. It's not overly strong like Arnold Schwarzenegger, but it's bigger than you. Physically, it's bigger than you. You're going to go, oh my God.
Especially if it's an animal that's not supposed to be doing that. 6 foot tall.
I mean, you can almost go, oh, well, hey, I'm seeing a hyena. This is really unusual. But then you go, oh, wait, that hyena just stood up. They're not supposed to do that. So scientifically, could I explain that away? No. And the funny thing is, I didn't even believe in Dogman at all. I didn't believe in werewolves or Dogman until I had my own encounter.
Right.
And once you want to see it.
Yeah, I mean, it was real enough where I devoted myself to researching it. So there is that.
And again, are there any traditional stories of Dogman in that area or a similar cryptid where you saw that?
Actually, Dogman stories are really abundant here and in Mexico. They talk about how certain kinds of Dogman actually kill the people that are trying to travel from Mexico or to Arizona or whatever. They'll kill them in the desert. Yeah, I forgot the Spanish name for them, but they're not really highly regarded as a positive thing. So, yeah, there is a lot of ritual lore involving Dogman, yeah.
Okay.
I'm over here looking at every time we say something, Googling like Jamie on Joe Rogan. Texas City seeks help in finding Dogman. That's somebody in a costume.
I mean, there's kind of an interesting follow-up that you guys might really find fascinating.
All right.
So after that encounter, you got to remember it's been about 2 years now, okay? And I do Dogman research physically every day. That means I go out, I look for evidence, I look for any clues. Well, one day I was in a different portion of the riverbed that I go into, right? And I come across this thing that was never there before. Somebody had dug out a certain patch of the land there. For some reason, they had made a staircase out of mud, okay? And the staircase, at the top of the staircase, was a silver platter filled with fruit. Now, why would that be out in the middle of the desert, in the middle of a riverbed? I was thinking, this is really odd. So I took pictures of it, came back about 2 weeks later. There's fresh fruit there, okay? But you can see there's signs of it being eaten. So being the guy I am, I left a note to whoever was doing this, and I asked them, who or what are you feeding? Is this homeless people? Is this for the birds? What is it? So I left a note. I generally left a note, and I waited about 3, maybe 4 weeks before I went back. Well, when I went back, there was a response to my letter, to my note, but it wasn't really a worded letter. It was a picture. Somebody had drawn a hyena-like creature, and they said, we're feeding these. There's 3 or 4 of them. Be careful.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, and mind you, I don't tell everybody that I run into my Dogman encounter, okay?
Yeah.
So whoever this is, they saw something very similar to what I had seen. And they're feeding them. They said it's a family of them. So something for me to go, oh my, you saw the same thing that I did. And now you're telling me there's 3 or 4 of them here. So, that really just sparked my research to just keep on going.
And they were feeding him fruit. That's curious.
Yeah, I mean, it was some high selection of fruit, though, man. I mean, they had pineapple, they had kiwi and blueberries and raspberries. I'm like, yo, maybe I should start camping out here, get my fruit fill.
Yeah, that's a spread.
It is, yeah.
It's like a caterer.
Right. I mean, they're catering to these dogmen. I'm like, yo, maybe I should stay out here, see what goes on.
I'm watching, I'm doing some research, too, and I just saw a video about a hyena that learned to walk on 2 feet after a lion paralyzed it, apparently.
Oh, boy.
So I'm just going to see what that looks like. Fascinating.
I can see how you would go kind of off the deep end researching after something like that happened.
Yeah, I mean, it was like, it shook my reality, because I didn't really buy into the dogman phenomena too much. I'm like, well, could werewolves exist? Nah. As much as I love horror movies, I want to say no. But when I ran into this hyena-like creature, I'm like, okay, you know what? This is a universe slapping me upside the head saying, hey, smarten up, Ryan. So I couldn't deny what I had seen. Okay, if I heard it from somebody else, I could look into it and be skeptical. Seeing it with your own 2 eyes, though, yeah, no, you can't deny that anymore.
I always ask these Bigfoot guys how they go on with their lives after they know it's a real.
Yeah, it's something
how do you
that
go
really,
to work on Monday.
Right, it wakes you up. I mean, for me personally, I didn't want to go outside at night for a while. Like even taking out the trash was a big chore for me because I'm like, well, the dumpster is a good distance from my house. Who's to say that when I go out there at night to take out the trash, that thing won't be waiting there?
He knows who you are. He still looks you in the face.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a made man by now.
Yeah, right. I mean, because we did make eye contact, and it did stare me right in the face, like you said. So apparently, it's going to know who I am, right?
Now, I was also looking at the length of the hyena. The longest hyena is a spotted hyena, and this is 5.4 feet long. Mm-hmm. So I wonder how that would translate to standing up. Would that, if it was standing up, would it be shorter or longer than if it was on all 4?
Wouldn't it be equal length?
Yeah, probably equal length. Yeah. Okay.
I think it depends on the position the head and the neck were in when it stood up on 2 legs.
You have to answer, what's a hyena doing loose in Arizona?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I really thought, it was a hyena. I saw a hyena. That's what I was trying to convince myself of. It was just a hyena. But, even my friend, the guy whose house I was, house sitting for, he was like, come on, Ryan, you're a science dude. You know animals. You go out camping. You've been hunting before. It wasn't a hyena. It was something else. And you have to look into this possibility that, it was a type of dogman.
Right. Well, the only thing I could think of would be, one of the, I mean, people do have exotic pets. I'm not sure what the exotic pet culture is like in Arizona. I know in Texas, you could get a permit. You could have lions and tigers in your backyard.
Well, maybe in Tucson, I could see somebody having something like that. But I live in a small town. It's a very small mining town with, railroad tracks and everything like that. We don't have a huge population. So, would somebody here have a exotic pet like that? I don't think so. I don't see why they would.
Right. Very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting. Interesting. It wasn't aggressive either. I mean, it was intimidating, but it wasn't aggressive.
Right.
It could have attacked you, but it didn't.
I think it was testing me, see how I would respond. I think that's what the charge was for.
Yeah.
I think
it charged you on 2 feet or on 4 feet?
Kind of like both in a way. It was like knuckle walking when it charged.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Good old false charge.
Yeah, it was a bluff charge. I think it wanted to see, is he going to draw a weapon or is he going to run or what's he going to do? And I think there was surprise there. When I didn't move, I think it was kind of like, wait a minute, you didn't run. What's going on here? Why?
That's insane. You looked in its eyes. It wasn't like human looking, was it?
No. It had very animal-like eyes. I mean, you could see the eye shine. You could see the big pupils. So.
Be funny you looking. It's actually your friend morphed.
You're right. Be like, Cornell, is that you?
Is that you, Ryan? Dude almost ate you.
Man, you got to start doing something so I know it's you next time.
We're on our 4th plan this month. Keeps leaving the Chewy boxes in the front yard.
So yeah, I mean, it was definitely a very humbling experience to say the least. You know, when you're someone who doesn't believe in a certain phenomena, and then it happens to you, it really makes you go, "Wow, okay, time to rethink my stance on this."
I have honestly never had anything like that happen to me. I don't know if it's a good or bad thing. I had a medium on here that told me in my past life I was obsessed with Bigfoot too.
Oh my goodness!
I don't know how legit that was. I kind of look back and think I was being cold read a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a fun podcast while it lasted. When I got done, I'm like, shit, I was code red the whole time.
Well, that's
have you read about this? I'm still doing research, and I'm looking up American hyena from the Encyclopedia of Cryptozoology. Mm-hmm. It says it's cryptid canines reported from the United States, particularly the northeastern states and Texas, described as resembling hyenas. The most famous example is the Iowa Shunka Warakin. Oh, here's the pronunciation. Shunka Waraki.
Oh, the Shunka Warakin.
There you go. Yeah.
Yes. I did consider that. I definitely did. And I did ask around about that. And from everyone I've spoken to about the Shunka Warakin, they never take 2 legs.
Interesting. Let's see.
There's plenty of pictures of hyenas on 2 legs, but it's not like them walking around going to the mailbox.
Right.
Like all animals get on back of legs.
Mm-hmm.
There's one taking a poop. How did that? I did not put that in. Why is that the first thing that came up? Freaking algorithm.
That's funny.
I swear to God. There's a hyena hunched over. You're okay. All I can think of is Whoopi Goldberg's character on Lion King.
Oh, my goodness.
Was that Cheech and Chong and Whoopi Goldberg and some other guy that didn't talk?
Yep. Yeah, it was Cheech Marin, Whoopi Goldberg, and I'm not sure who did the voice for the third guy, the crazy one.
Ed?
Yeah, the one that just laughed like an idiot all the time.
Sanity. Over here Googling stuff like we're not doing a podcast. I don't care.
Hey, man, you guys do what you got to do.
This is sort of the end of it anyway, so it's just like garbage time. We got to go through and brainstorm.
Mm-hmm.
You got to watch out for wild trees. They'll come up with something that lasts another 7 hours. Oh, it's Jim Cummings. He played something else too that was famous. He was Pete on Mickey Mouse. What?
You really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, I learned something new today.
Yeah, he's a voice actor. He's on a lot of Disney movies. Tigger, he was Winnie the Pooh. Winnie the Pooh. That's who he was.
Wow, he's Winnie the Pooh. Oh boy,
I believe so.
What a change in roles, man! He went from playing the kindest little bear ever to being a jerk off hyena. Wow.
He got to kill Scar in the end. Vindication.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, but I definitely have looked into different possibilities pertaining to my Dogman encounter. So, yeah, it's one of those things that I may not actually ever have solid answers, man. I may have speculation, theory, and conjecture, but solid answers, maybe not.
It really makes you wonder why certain people get to see things, or like it was an accident. They knew that he was out of town. Mm-hmm. What was it doing back there?
Well, I'm guessing maybe it was going for the quail, because during October, a lot of the quail like to go into my friend's backyard and nest in the trees. You know, it's adequate cover and it's high off the ground, so snakes and whatnot can't get them. Maybe he was after the quail, or maybe just trying to get away from too many humans. Who knows?
Yeah, I wondered if he didn't know that your friend was out of town, or
yeah, he might have. I mean, maybe he knew that the humans weren't home. And he could go raid the trash cans and whatever, and there would be nobody there. And then he saw me, and he's like, "Oh, what?" See, I must be on something because I heard the ding.
He checked your friend's Facebook profile and saw he was out of town.
Yeah, he's like, "Whoa, this guy's out of town. Cool, man. He's always eating the good stuff."
He's the wet bandits.
Became the sticky bandits later on.
It's WET. Shut up, Mauve.
Shut up, Mauve. You're sick, you know that, Mauve.
What if it was a skinwalker?
Oh god,
It was like a neighbor that knew he was out of town.
Don't jinx me like that, man. If it's a skinwalker, that means I'll see it again and again and again and again, and maybe one day they'll come after me. Not good.
Shut your windows.
Oh, they're shut. Trust me, they're always shut now.
If you ever hear someone crying for help in the middle of the night, don't go looking.
Oh, I won't. I'm just gonna look out the door and be like, nah, man, that's your problem. That sounds like a you thing. Later.
That's part of that Appalachian shit.
Let me bring up one more topic before we go off. Something I do like talking a lot about, which is the black-eyed people or children. What's your history with this legend, or have you collected any stories, or what are your thoughts on it, basically?
I've heard a lot of stories about them, and to this day, I'm still entirely baffled as to what they could be. I've heard that they're interdimensional beings. I've heard alien. I've even heard vampires. I mean, could they be any of those? Who the hell knows? I mean, those things are so perplexing, but they're creepy as hell. And I will say right here, right now, that if I ever see a black-eyed kid, I am going to field goal that little shit right out of my neighborhood. I will kick it so hard that the eyes will be gone, man. I will not mess with it.
Yeah, they're one of those unambiguously evil sightings that people report. Yeah,
I mean, every story you hear, they're so disturbing. There's nothing ever pleasant about them. Like with Bigfoot, you get the pleasant encounters, okay? Not so much Dogman, I suppose. So you do get the people that say they interact with them and everything. But the BEKs, man, it's never, ever pleasant. It's always horrifying. And why people
they're not selling cookies.
Well, right. And it's like, why people want to encounter these things is beyond me. It's like, why do you want to see these things? Hell no.
Most likely demonic.
I think they could be. I mean, the only experience that I have that's maybe like close to similar with black-eyed kids is when I heard the disembodied voices of kids. And that was
bad.
Yeah, that was disturbing itself because, I'm out here in the middle of the desert doing research. There's no houses around. There's nobody else with me. And all of a sudden I hear a crowd of kids laughing. And it sounds like very happy, very jolly laughter. But then I hear the footsteps coming towards me, like they're rushing towards me. And there's no kids out there. So I'm like, where did this even come from? That was pretty scary in itself. So, and that's just the kids. That's all laughter. It's not like I saw physical manifestations, nothing like that. I just heard the laughing, and that was disturbing in itself.
That'd be a rough one to deal with there.
Yeah, because I'm looking around. I'm standing here looking baffled, looking like an idiot probably, going, how are kids laughing? There's nobody out here with me. There's no kids present with me. Where's this laughter coming from? Then when you hear their footfalls, though, like they're charging towards you, I jumped by instinct, man. You know how that is when you hear something, you just kind of like, you pop up or whatever. And that's what I was doing, but there was nothing there. Physically, there was nothing there.
Like a flat desert for miles?
Yeah, like, there was no houses at all, man. It's just a stretch of desert, riverbed, and that's it. There's nobody there. And like, there's nothing covering my sight. There's no place these guys could be hiding. And why would little kids be out in the middle of the desert like that anyway?
That's crazy. That's straight up old Navajo burial ground you came across there.
I had to wonder. I actually thought maybe that's what it was. Because what happened not too long after that is I found a crucifix. Somebody had made a crucifix in the ground using stones. There's a big, big cross just left there. And I'm like, did somebody die here or was somebody killed?
Like, how big was it? It was like 10 feet?
I'd say like maybe if I measured it, it was about 8.5 feet lengthwise and across.
Man, it could have been like a mass grave or something.
It was a pretty good size. It was a pretty good width and length. So it's not just something that, someone's going to go out there and construct for the hell of it.
Say, is there a way to, you got ground penetrating radar, but you got to have one of those giant things.
Right.
You can't just conceal that in your backpack.
That's true. That's very true.
Definitely don't want to go digging.
No.
That's how you get attachments.
And, I like to respect the spirits too, man. I don't like to mess with that.
Especially.
So.
I'm so curious when it comes to stuff like that. I'm like, let's go. Well, we can't dig. Yeah,
because if it's sacred ground, if I were to dig there, I just disrupted sacred ground, and I'm the asshole. So.
Yeah, it becomes much worse at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a little kid cemetery in the woods by my grandma's place when I grew up.
Oh boy,
used to kind of freak me out a little bit. Like, way out there too.
But just like hearing the disembodied laughter of kids, though, I mean, that's frightening enough.
Possibly the most frightening thing.
It could be. I mean, yeah, a little kid's laughter, though, can be a very pleasant thing. When you're out in the middle of nowhere and you hear that, you're like, whoa, okay, it's not pleasant anymore.
What's the phrase? There's nothing sweeter than the laughter of a newborn baby. Unless it's 3 a.m, you don't have a baby.
Right? Exactly. Yes, just like that. Just like that. But to hear the footsteps, though, coming towards you at a rapid rate, you're looking around going, why do I hear this? But there's nothing here. What the hell's going on?
That's that skin. Was it before or after the skinwalker or the wind or the hyena?
That was after the dogman encounter.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
I think you heard him.
No, maybe.
Trying to freak you out. He's gonna get on me now. The only thing worse than somebody that runs away and tails is somebody that makes fun of it.
Right?
Breaking all kinds of rules here.
So any more questions, fellas, or?
I don't think so. I was remembering that I did always have like a contingency plan in case you might have canceled. I was going to ask Wild Trees about the relationship between actual biology and the fourth dimension, but I think we've been covered that a little sparsely, but we'll get to that on another episode. Yeah, but it's been a good one. It's real fun.
Yeah, I enjoyed this, guys.
I didn't realize it's been an hour and 20 minutes, to be honest.
Time does fly when you're having fun, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, these things go so fast. It's incredible. The ones on Wild Trees channels will go for 2 hours. You don't even notice it. Like 2 hours.
Yeah, I'm gonna check out Wild Tree stuff. I mean, if he does movie reviews, that's right up my alley now.
Yeah, yeah. Our channels are very similar, except he's a lot smarter sounding than I am. He does.
At least you're honest about it, man. Jeez.
Oh yeah. I'm not trying to get a PhD over here. I've got enough of a schooling to get me by.
There you go.
Do you have your own YouTube? Do you have your own YouTube channel?
Yeah, I do. It's Monster Radio.
Okay. Oh yeah, definitely. Okay. Yeah. And anything else
we examine cryptids very scientifically over there, though there's a lot of wiggle room because I do believe in the supernatural realm. So we take a very, very deep dive on every cryptid we cover over there.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I was listening about an hour earlier.
Mm-hmm. Which one did you listen to?
Oh my God. I was going to see if you could get, what's her name? Ashley on here.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I can do that. If you want to schedule us both, yeah, I can definitely do that. That's my girlfriend, by the way.
Oh, is it? Yeah, because about an hour before we were messaging back and forth, I was listening while I was eating supper. And I almost like, why don't you get Ashley, your co-host Ashley on here? Because you two are working well together.
Yeah, that's my girlfriend. That's my co-host. So we work really well together. We got a good chemistry going on.
I should get a girlfriend co-host.
You should.
My wife would be pissed. Who the hell is that?
I'll definitely subscribe. Thank you for that. I'll check it out. Sounds really
they do a good job.
I'll check out your channel.
The intros are amazing.
Thank you.
All righty. We will blow this pop stand.
All right, guys.
And,
it was definitely a pleasure talking with you guys.
Oh, yeah, it was great. I'm glad to meet new people like you.
Oh, pleasure's mine, man.
Down to earth guys who are potential pseudo co-hosts in the future.
There you go. Yeah, anytime you want to have us on, you let me know, man. I'll get Ashley up on here with us, and yeah.
Yeah, we'll start orchestrating that very soon because I wouldn't mind doing like a Sunday night. The best ones we do are Sunday nights and Friday nights, and we just go forever.
Okay, cool. And she's actually really, really good at the Mothman and the Hopkinsville Goblins, and
oh my God,
she'll blow your mind, dude. Once you get her started,
nerdy to me.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be like,
oh God, just said Hopkinsville Goblins, Mothman. Oh,
you know what? Sweet. She's a great co-host though, dude, Bobby. Because like all you got to do is you just ask her a question like, "So, Ashley, what is the Mothman?" And she's off and running. You can just sit back, and go, "Ugh, yep."
You know, you said that, but there was like 20 minutes. The one I listened to earlier, where I thought it was a horror movie podcast, and it was about something else. Went forever. What is this actually about? I thought I knew the niche, but then all of a sudden it was something else completely. Then you changed gears. Okay. All righty. Thanks for coming on, man. Anyway.
All right, man. Thanks for having me on.
Drop off here and end this sucker. And
okay. All right. You take care, guys.